Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why dismissive avoidants get into rebound relationships. And I don't mean that all dismissive avoidants do or anything like that, but I'm going to talk about the different reasons for if you find that a dismissive avoidant has been in a rebound relationship. And I'm going to talk about the different types and the different reasonings and often sponsoring intentions behind why. Now, keep in mind, this is not like a one size fits all. These are just patterns that I recognize over the period of time of working with these individuals for so long in person and one-on-one and in the school, and asking questions to these individuals to get these answers and seeing the patterns that consistently emerge. So before I dive into all of this and you learn about the 4 different types of major reactions that create the rebound relationships for DAs, we are doing our Black Friday sale, so check that out. Our Black Friday sale is for $1,000 off of our lifetime memberships. So again, this is like a sort of a limited time thing. We won't be doing this very often, if at all again. So check that out for those of you who have been interested and requesting. We also have 30% off, which is different than the typical promotions that we have, as sort of the support structure for our community. So you can check those all out. I'll put a link in the description box below. We also have 50% off individual courses right now, as opposed to the membership. So check all of that out. Okay, let's talk about this. So the 4 main types of reactions we'll see after a dismissive avoidant goes through a breakup. Reaction number 1 is that they will stay very far away from relationships. And they'll really want to disconnect completely. Now, this is often something that takes place specifically when you see a dismissive avoidant get out of a long relationship and they are very dismissive avoidant. It's like they'll just kind of shut way down and go into hermit mode a little bit. Or if they had a shorter, less committed relationship that they felt was kind of a pain for them, it was, there was a burden, it was challenging, they didn't know how to communicate, express their needs, it just felt like it was heavy, they didn't know how to navigate it effectively, and then they're just going, whoa, I just need to really take that time out for myself and find myself again here for a moment. And so in both of those sort of more extreme cases, a very short relationship that felt where they felt kind of powerless or challenged by it, or a really long relationship where there's lots of wounding, we have to remember dismissive avoidance way of dealing with pain is often to push back, right? To avoid, to keep themselves safe from it and separate from it. And so you'll see those types of the absence of rebound relationships essentially in that case. Now, after a long-term relationship where there's lots of pain and where somebody isn't an extreme dismissive avoidant, another common response we'll actually see is that somebody gets in a long-term relationship, almost like not a rebound relationship. And what can largely be a partial sponsoring motivation for this, and this isn't coming from me, this is coming from me asking people and hearing these answers over and over and over again. When I dig into things, people have often said to me, I didn't know how to process getting out of my marriage. And I met somebody and things were good and it felt easy. And I didn't want to go through the pain of another breakup again. So I just invested differently into that next relationship. I was afraid to feel my feelings. So sometimes dismissive avoidance will use their fear of feeling their own emotions as actually a partial motivator for sticking to a rebound relationship and for really investing in it. And again, the pattern I tend to see there tends to be specifically when there's been a really long relationship and they knew they were going to feel all these feelings and they were like, I need to find something to not feel my feelings, and a new potential person in my life helps. Now, they're not going to invest in some random relationship where they really don't like the person and they see no compatibility, but they're more likely to want to invest extra into that seemingly rebound, potentially turned long-term relationship, specifically because they have this motivation of I don't want to feel 2 breakups. And I don't know if I want to jump into a 3rd relationship. So they might, a big pattern I often see is that dismissive avoidants after a long-term relationship not working out tend to invest differently in the next relationship if it's right after. And if that's partially sponsored by being a subconscious strategy to avoid their feelings. Okay. Now, another thing we might see, another major pattern is if a dismissive avoidant gets out of a somewhat long-term relationship where they do feel their feelings, and then they get into a rebound and it's actually a rebound relationship. It doesn't last for a very long time. And this is often because dismissive avoidance as well, like the comfort and security of a relationship. So if it's a simple relationship, if the person makes things easy, if the person is, very emotionally sturdy and congruent and practical and predictable, then what you'll often see is that a dismissive avoidant will like that and will try to latch on to the safety of a new relationship, because they do still tend to feel a little bit exposed when they are out of a relationship. Okay. Now, dismissive avoidants often don't seek rebounds after shorter relationships as much, but do seek rebounds and lasting ones at that after those long-term relationships. Okay. Because again, the shorter relationships, they're usually like, oh, I just need a breakdown. I just get to reconnect to myself. And you might see them get into a new relationship or dynamic, date somebody again a little while later, a few months later. But in the interim, like that short period of time where we would constitute it as being a rebound, you won't see that as often. Now, the other case that we'll see here is that the dismissive avoidant will seek out dating or attention, but not a rebound relationship post breakup. So they'll seek out something to kind of help dull their pain and distraction from their pain of the breakup. They might seek out, going on a date or two, but not really invest. And it'll be casual enough where it couldn't be called a rebound relationship, right? It'll just be like a little bit of connection, attention, things like that. Maybe even reach out to an ex for some kind of confirmation or validation, things like that. And in those cases, that can be a subconscious strategy for a dismissive avoidant to avoid their pain. And then our very last potential option or reason that tends to be a pattern enough to communicate on here is if a dismissive avoidant has been very unhappy for a long time, especially if it's more of a people-pleasing dismissive avoidant, and then they feel unhappy, get into a sort of healing mode where they're almost like getting over the relationship while they're still in it, even though this is more of a fearful avoidant thing, which you'll learn about in the next part of this series. But where they will be kind of getting over the relationship while they're in it. And then by the time they're out of the relationship, they might be more open to new possibilities in a slightly different way, because they've been basically doing the breakup in their mind for a long period of time. But by that time that you see that, you'll see dismissive avoidants be very deactivated, very cold. It's very consistent, not put effort, actively avoiding the relationship. And I mean, like, you'll know that it won't be a question or, a potential or a maybe. It'll be like clear that this person has, the relationship's been falling apart for weeks, if not months, if not years for some people, honestly. So that could be a slightly different dynamic, but the aforementioned ones are the major reasons you'll see dismissive avoidants get into rebound relationships, or what their rebound patterns will be like. So I hope this makes sense and answered a lot of your guys' questions. This is a big topic that you guys had asked for, so thank you. And please like, share, and subscribe if you're getting a lot of value out of this channel, and I will see you in the next video.